Hey there, I, the Big Bad Wolf, am not happy with what the Walt Disney Company's new CEO, Josh D'Amaro, is doing now. He started laying people off, including the entire home video division. What the heck? According to him, this was to streamline their operations across multiple divisions, given the fast-moving pace of our industries. And with the home video division, they claim it's because streaming continues to dominate and that physical media is no longer a major focus. Well, that doesn't mean you have to possibly end your physical media releases for sure. And from what I've seen online on social media, physical media awareness has been rising again, with more people looking to buy more Blu-rays and DVDs and whatnot. But with Disney, this is an even worse sign than 2 years ago, the dissolving of Buena Vista Home Entertainment in favor of releasing Disney's DVDs and Blu-rays in conjunction with Sony Pictures Home Entertainment, who distributes their titles through Studio Distribution Services, a joint venture between Universal and Warner Brothers. It's what led to discontinuing the Disney Movie Club 2 years ago. And it stinks, because the Disney Movie Club was the only way for the time you could get things like a Goofy movie on Blu-ray, compared to the Gold Collection DVD release in 2000, where it's been cropped into full screen. Even the complete Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers on Blu-ray, remastered in the original 4:3 aspect ratio, compared to being cropped into widescreen on Disney+. As such, copies of these are now being sold by scalpers online, demanding high prices. Not unlike what sometimes happened in the 90s, when some of the animated Disney classics would be vaulted. What a shame. Ever since Walt Disney Home Entertainment first started up in 1978, with releasing some older Walt Disney anthology TV episodes and at least one of their live-action movies on Laserdisc, distributed by MCA under their DiscoVision brand. Then Disney established their own video distribution operation in 1980 with the Walt Disney Telecommunications and Non-Theatrical Company, then renamed Buena Vista Home Video in 1987. The 80s was when the home video boom happened, as Disney dipped their feet into the market by initially releasing live-action movies and several cartoon compilations, and a few of the non-vault animated features. Then, of course, in 1984, when Frank Wells, Jeffrey Katzenberg, and Michael Eisner took over running the Walt Disney Company, that's when they began releasing the vaulted animated features on home video for a limited time, testing the waters with Robin Hood. Heck, if it wasn't for this as part of the home video boom, the furry fandom may not have even taken much of its foundation in the 80s, since people could now rent or even buy this furry anime classic on video to watch at home whenever they wanted. Also, thanks to the Classics collection, this pretty much spawned a now common Disney enthusiast. Rather than waiting for a theatrical release for one of these films, of course, like I mentioned, you had to act fast to buy one of these big Disney classics on video before they went back in the vault for another 7 to 10 years. Unless you're willing to pay scalpers high prices for such new condition copies. So by the early 2010s, while DVD and Blu-ray copies of such vaulted Disney animated features could possibly fetch high prices, VHS copies were far more affordable, despite being an outdated format. And soon we got scalpers believing all the malarkey about those classics VHS tapes with the Black Diamond logo being incredibly valuable. All because one fool managed to buy a copy of the 1992 Beauty and the Beast VHS tape for like $1,000. Seriously, Beauty and the Beast is one of the most common classics collection VHS titles out there, along with Aladdin. But 10 years ago, Disney began a long-term plan to phase out that moratorium practice, with the Signature Collection Blu-ray releases of their big, high-selling animated classics being released and not going back into vault 2 years after their release. This ultimately culminated in the launch of Disney+. They're jumping into the premium streaming market, featuring nearly all their animated classics now free from the vault. Times sure have changed. Also regarding physical media releases, I know Zootopia 2 just came out on disc, And there's a new Alice in Wonderland 75th Anniversary 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray release coming out, featuring a brand new restoration from the original negatives. Funny how Walt Disney never looked back at Alice in Wonderland fondly, being one of the few animated movies in his lifetime to bomb at the box office. And then it led to being shown in an edited format on Walt's anthology TV show, never getting a theatrical release until nearly 8 years after Walt's death in 1974, taking advantage of the hippie-trippy crowd that made Fantasia finally turn a profit with its 1969 theatrical re-release, since both feature so many psychedelic colors and imagery. Also, Pixar's Hoppers is set for a Blu-ray and DVD release in late June. At least it was a mild box office success, kind of like Elemental. This isn't exactly like when The Good Dinosaur was their first Pixar movie to bomb at the box office over 10 years ago, resulting in it coming to home video just a few months later, as is often the case when a movie is such a flop. Also, as part of their streamlining their operations, Disney went and laid off most of Marvel's visual development team. So far, it's become a pretty rocky start for Josh D'Amaro being CEO of the Walt Disney Company. But I really hope things could turn around, as laying off the home video division is a really big blow to the company. But we already have a few promising signs, like the scaling back on live-action remakes of their animated features, and promising to not rely on generative AI so much. For future Disney physical media releases, Sony Pictures Home Entertainment and studio distribution services are really going to have to get their acts together to make sure we get these movies and shows on disc. But I'm willing to see what happens next, like you guys should as you stay tuned to this channel.